So you can see at the bottom here, there's a little bit that sort of hangs down below this bottom level. So what I'm going to do is I want to get rid of that because it just looks like it just sort of hangs there. So what I'm going to do essentially is make that into that shape. So I'm going to curve it so that it doesn't hang down. So I need to go inside of here. I'm going to cut this off here and then sew it. So I'm just going to sort of cut it in here. It's probably enough. I'll cut the same with the sequins. I want to make sure that that corner there, I don't want that to hang down, so that needs to be sort of shaped. When I sew it, it needs to be shaped around there. Okay, that looks fine. Turn that underneath now, and then I'm just going to, I think I'm just going to top stitch it. Yeah, I am. I'm just going to turn it underneath like that, all the way down, and then top stitch it. So I've just gone right up to the edge here and cleared out the excess fabric because it was a bit bulky at the corner there, and I don't want it to sit bulkily. So just start turning it over and clipping it together. Right, so this is the curve that I've got, and now I'm simply going to take it over to the sewing machine and top stitch it. You can see lots of pins holding it in place. I feel that this is a really nice item to not show up any mistakes. With all the sparkle, you can't really see it. I'm not too concerned about being extremely precise because I just think that you won't really see it, so it's very nice. So I'll take that over and sew it now. So I'm doing this on my sewing machine really slowly because I don't really sew with sequins very often, and I'm just a bit cautious about damaging my machine. So I've decided I'll just take it slowly and see how it goes. I've just sped up the video here. I'm not sewing any quicker. The sewing machine seems to be handling the sequins really, really well. It's not difficult to sew at all, so I'm quite happy with how it's managing with it. What I'm starting to think about now is what I'm going to add onto the bottom of this dress. I need something lacy is what I thought, sheer and see-through. And I remembered I'd got this dress that I bought from a charity shop. I think originally it's from Marks and Spencer, but I got it from a charity shop in the summer. And I had started to take it apart. You can see where it had a lining, like a body coloured lining inside where those brown marks are. So I'd already taken that off to use on a different project. What I'm doing here is I'm actually taking the zip out as well so that I can use that in another project because it's a good zip. So I'm going ahead and taking that out. I think the contrast of the lace and the sequin will look really, really lovely together. So the sequin dress sits at a nice place on the top of my leg, long enough so that I can then put the lace underneath. The lace is see-through, but that's okay because of where it sits on top of my leg. It looks fine, and I'm gonna feel really comfortable in it. So I'm quite excited that these two together will look really nice. But I need to find out if I've got enough fabric to wrap all the way around the sequin dress. So by opening up the zip and then opening up the bottom of this dress, it's going to show me how much fabric I'm actually working with. So this is actually unpicking the rest of the seam below the zip. You do have to be careful when you're working with these sort of lacy fabrics that you don't by accident cut through into the lace. So you have to be quite careful with this. Okay, so through nothing short of a miracle, it has turned out that this fabric is exactly the same width as the fabric of the sequin dress. So I don't need to make any sort of like attachments or anything. I can just use the width of this dress. So I've cut it off at a point which I think will allow me to have it as a full length dress. And what I'm going to do first is I'm actually going to hem the bottom. So I've just turned it over twice, and I'm just pinning it all the way around the bottom. The reason I'm doing it at the hem first is that I just want to make sure that this cute little ladder stitch detail sits about sort of 20 centimeters from the bottom. So I'm sort of working my way up really, just so that if I want to make any adjustments, I'm making it at the top of the lacy skirt. So what I'm doing now is I'm just hemming it here. It's a little bit tricky because of all the holes in the lace, so I'm taking it slowly on the sewing machine and just trying to hem that as best I can. I'm adding a slit at the front of the skirt, and what I'm doing here is I'm just zigzagging the top piece that will not be part of the slit, just so that it doesn't fray. The slit itself, I'm going to do a double hem either side, either of the edges, so that that has a nice finish to it. I'm also zigzagging around the top edge of the lace skirt as well, so that it won't fray when it's actually attached onto the sequin piece. I want to attach the lace piece to the sequin piece, and I want to do that with as little bulk as possible. So I'm sitting the lace inside of the sequin and just laying it flat. I'm not adding a seam that you have to turn over. I'm just very delicately attaching the two together here. So the wrap of fabric, so the fabric that is wrapped over to the other side, is nice because it's flattering. However, there is a little bit too much fabric, and it's also in a position where it cuts across my bust line, and it doesn't feel very flattering. So I'm just undoing the side section here and actually taking that wrapped piece of fabric out so that I can reposition it and actually take some of that fabric out. So when the fabric is opened out, so the wrap piece that's now opened, there's quite a lot of excess fabric there. So what I'm going to do is cut that off. So I pinned it along the line that I thought would look nice. It's going to sit further down, the wrap will sit further down, and it won't cut across my bust anymore. So when I've cut the fabric off, I'm just now turning both pieces underneath, and what I will do is I will top stitch both of those pieces so that that sits nice and flat. Now that the piece is pinned in place, what I've decided is, rather than top stitching it, I'm just going to place it on top of the dress and attach it to the dress. So I'll go ahead and sew that in place, and then that is the last of the adjustments that I'm going to make to this dress. So here's the finished dress. You can see it looks really nice. So a £20 Primark dress upcycled into something a little bit different. The neck became asymmetrical because of moving the wrap, and I really like that. I like the split on it, and I enjoyed the way it felt. So yeah, I was really happy with the finished product.